Good evening and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Najaa Tijani, and in the course of our bulletin, we'll be joining our correspondent in Yauri for an update on the Kebbi school abduction. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has made a strong case for the mobile telephone network to support the implementation of the national policy for the promotion of indigenous content in the Nigerian telecommunications sector by training and engaging more Nigerians in the company. Granting audience to a high-powered delegation from the MTN group, the president also insists that top-of-the-range and affordable service be offered to Nigerians. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The MTN group was in the State House to discuss with President Muhammadu Buhari how the South Africa-based multinational mobile telecommunications company can run its business seamlessly and in turn contribute to the growth of the nation's economy.
The telecommunications and digital revolution that Nigeria has led in the continent is something that Nigerians must be very proud of. As a law-abiding company, we will play our role to enable the socio-economic development of this country.
President Muhammadu Buhari was unequivocal that Nigeria and Nigerians deserve much more from the MTN, as the country is not only the most lucrative market in Africa, Asia and the Middle East for the company, but also the source of 1/3 of its entire income.
In particular, we would like you to continue to support our efforts by improving the quality of service and enabling a downward price review of the cost of data and other services in view of your large market in Nigeria. We also urge you to step up your corporate social responsibility programs and support research and development that will enhance your services in Nigeria.
While looking forward to more mutually beneficial partnerships between MTN and Nigeria, the president said already a number of policies and programs have been implemented to ensure that institutions like MTN have a conducive environment for doing business in Nigeria. Similarly, key challenges that affected the growth of the digital economy sector, including the high right-of-way costs and vandalization of critical national infrastructure, have been addressed.
The right-of-way charges have now been pegged at a maximum of 145 naira per linear meter, and they have given directives for the protection of critical national infrastructure. Service providers should always appreciate the effort of government and not undermine it. We urge MTN to continue to support our efforts by expanding high-quality connectivity to Nigerians in unserved and underserved areas.
President Buhari said his administration's emphasis on the development of Nigeria's digital economy has positioned the sector as a leading light and fastest growing in the country. The sector's 14.70% double-digit growth rate, he said, played a principal role in supporting Nigeria's exit from recession triggered by COVID-19. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And back to our update on the FGC Birnin Yauri abduction. Our correspondent Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports that the Kebbi State Commissioner of Police is presently at the school, that's the Federal Government College Birnin Yauri, about to address the parents of the abducted students. One of the parents interviewed, however, said she was in school to visit her daughter who was ill when the bandits attacked. She added that although 3 of her children in the school were abducted, the effort of the police stationed in the school was nevertheless commendable. The police officers are now compiling the list of missing students, as some of them were not abducted but left the school during the attack. However, unconfirmed reports say the abducted teachers and students have been rescued by combined security agencies. And we'll be joining our correspondent live, that's Shehu Muhammad Dati, on the Kebbi abduction. Hello, Usman. What's the current situation now at the Federal Government College, Birnin Yauri?
Okay, I'm not at the Federal Government College, Birnin Yauri, due to network challenge. I'm right in the palace of the Emir of Yauri, Dr. Muhammad Zayano Abdullahi, where he just received the said governor, Abakar Atiku Bagudu, who came to sympathize with him over the incident that happened at the FGC Birnin Yauri. The governor came and informed the emir of the development, telling him that he just left the school. He has addressed the parents and teachers of the school and told them that the government is doing all it can to see that the students have been rescued. And in response, the emir of Yauri, that's Dr. Muhammad Zayano Abdullahi, responded and commended the effort of the security personnel and the state government for what they are doing and called for more security personnel to take care of our security challenges within the area. Another thing that happened, that unconfirmed report that we got from the people there said that the abducted students and their teachers have been secured, but we are not yet to confirm that report. We equally heard that we are yet to get the actual number of students and the staff that have been abducted by the abductors.
Tell us a bit about Governor Abubakar Bagudu's visit. What was the outcome? What has been the outcome of the visit?
Okay, while at the school, Governor Bagudu described the incident as worrisome, promising that government and security personnel will do all they can to see that those students have been released in good health. He calmed the parents and the teachers of the school, saying it's something that nothing can be done at that moment because they are in large number and they have overpowered the 20 security personnel that were deployed at the college. So he left, went to the palace of the emir, where he just left now. At the same time, that's what he told the emir, that he has visited the school and addressed the students, the parents, and those that have been there, including the parents that came to see if their children have not been abducted. They equally addressed them and the teachers as well. Now at the emir's palace, he left with telling the emir that very soon the security personnel will, by the grace of God, rescue the abducted students.
Okay, thank you, Shehu. We'll be expecting more updates.
All right, thank you.
That was correspondent Shehu Muhammad Dati on the Federal Government College Yauri, Birnin Yauri abduction. And efforts of the federal government to end smuggling of all forms of contraband goods and promote locally made goods has continued to yield positive results, especially across Nigerian coastal lines. Kelvin Samuel reports that one of such is the confiscation of 251 bags of 50-kilogram foreign parboiled rice and a wooden boat by operatives of the Forward Operation Base of the Nigerian Navy, Ibaka, Akwa Ibom State, suspected to have been smuggled into the country through the Cameroon border.
Suspected smugglers on sighting operatives of Nigerian Navy from Forward Operation Base Ibaka fled the scene, leaving behind a wooden boat containing 251 bags of 50 kg foreign parboiled rice, which were confiscated and handed over to the border drill operatives.
To warn them to desist from their criminal ways and seek legitimate ways of business. Otherwise, the long arm of the law will catch up with them.
I'm here, have taken over evacuation to Calabar.
It is no longer business as usual for smugglers, with the synergy between security agencies who are bent on putting an end to illegalities across the nation's borders. From Mbo local government area of Akwa Ibom State, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
That was from the forward operating base. Now, the Nigerian Correctional Service is scaling up security across 244 custodial centers in Nigeria to protect inmates and infrastructure. During an engagement with the House of Representatives Committee on Reformatory Institutions, the need to reduce overcrowding was also among issues of priority discussed. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
We are making efforts to acquire more arms and ammunition so as to protect our facilities. And this is a task that we must do.
Both the committee and management of the service during this oversight to the headquarters of the Nigeria Correctional Service in Abuja were of the view that, considering increased attacks on custodial centers, it has become necessary to take urgent preventive steps. The engagement provided opportunity to look at other challenges of the service vis-a-vis its performance viewed from the budgetary releases.
Most custodial centers are caught up by organization, which does not give room for expansion, but always from the external attack.
The non-custodial service is a major priority of the committee in the 2022 budget consideration, given its significance as provided in the Correctional Act 2019.
Members of the committee went round for an assessment of projects cited within the headquarters of the complex. In another development, the Thursday kidnap incident at the Federal Government College Yauri in Kebbi State has prompted calls from a House member on authorities to intervene.
We do hope that also this will necessitate us having a battalion stationed in the route of those bandits that is commonly known to everybody.
He said security operatives tried to repel the bandits who carried out the attack. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The National Film and Video Censors Board is appealing to the 9th Assembly to refine the Film Industry Regulatory Commission of Nigeria. This was the submission of the Executive Director of the board and other stakeholders during a public hearing on two bills before the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values, where the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, led parastatals under his ministry to the public hearing. Mobolaji Moribiri reports.
The two bills are that for the amendment of the Nigeria Press Council Act, which seeks to remove bottlenecks affecting its performance, and the other is the bill to repeal the National Film and Video Censors Board to enact the National Film and Video Regulatory Commission of Nigeria.
Please, let us work together to achieve the best thing for us. I want to look back some years back and say, oh, we have done the right thing to the industry.
Relevant stakeholders made submissions on their positions on both bills.
I want to plead again with the Honorable Chairman and the members to accept the little addition we have made, and of course, do the needful so that by this year we'll be able to have the new bill.
We have looked at the document and we actually have sent in our recommendations.
We are asking that all stakeholders be involved in the institution of the Nigerian Press Code Standard and Guide.
The bills, when passed, are expected to drive Nigerians' media industry in line with global best practices. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
Meanwhile, participants at the House of Representatives Constitution Review public hearing for Imo and Abia states have further emphasized the need for accelerated attention to submissions presented by various interest groups. They made their views known at the Southeast Zonal public hearing in Owerri, earlier postponed for security reasons. Beatrice Anyam reports.
This zonal public hearing for Imo and Abia states, convened by the House of Representatives, ought to have been held 2 weeks ago alongside other centers across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. It was, however, postponed due to issues of insecurity in Imo State at the time. This convergence of stakeholders, therefore, is to give them opportunity to make input to the 1999 Constitution review. For some of them, including women and persons living with disabilities, creation of more states, 35% affirmative action for women, youths, and physically challenged persons, as well as separation of the Office of Attorney General from that of Minister of Justice, topped the list of their demands.
We want a country that will be driven with the spirit of equity, fairness, and justice.
The existence of single national police outfit is at variance with the federal system of government.
The Deputy Speaker and Chairman, House of Representatives Special Committee on Constitution Review, and the Committee Chairman for the Center, Fulata Abubakar Hassan, assure that the submissions will receive necessary attention.
To ensure what is given here is what we are taking out.
These submissions are expected to be transmitted to the National Assembly for further deliberation. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
Thank you, Beatrice. Now, 18th June is marked as World Autistic Pride Day to create awareness about this communication disorder, which affects a sizable number of children across the world. Abdulmalik Hassan takes a closer look at an autistic child, and his findings are amazing.
Before now, a lot of his works have gone out, a lot of his works have already been all over the world. Wow. And it's just recently that we were advised to begin to document, that is to list them.
These varieties of paintings welcome one to the residence of Tagbo Ukeke, leaving one to wonder the fortune he spends to acquire them. One is even in for more surprise when it is learned that it is his 11-year-old autistic child, Kanye, that is behind the drawings. Kanye, who is a child with special needs, has found a way of expressing himself through art, and the Okekes have given him all the encouragement he needs. The Okekes are proud of Kanye.
To nurture that gift, it takes a lot. It's painstaking. I tell most parents, you have to sacrifice a lot, you have to dedicate a lot, maybe even a lot more than you would dedicate for any other child, to nurture a child with special needs and a child with autism. Kanye is no different. Notwithstanding the gifts that he has, he is still a child living with autism.
You want the child to be able to take care of themselves. As a child, as a young adult, and as a full-fledged adult. So you have to start preparing them. So in the morning, the first routine is they take their shower, they brush their teeth. You have to teach them self-reliance. Kanye has passed that stage, obviously, but that routine is still there.
It is this type of encouragement that experts say autistic children, whom have proved to be very intelligent, need to have a fulfilled life and even make positive contribution to the society. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Still on Autistic Pride Day, the director of Pat Silver Educational Support and Therapy Center, Evelyn Mensah Agu, joins us in the studio to discuss its significance and more. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Until a few years ago in Nigeria, people with autism spectrum disorder were misdiagnosed and misunderstood, but now they're still subjected to rights violations despite so many initiatives and awareness campaigns. What makes the Autistic Pride Day different from all other campaigns out there?
Okay, Autistic Pride Day is basically it's a day set aside to celebrate and identify the diversity that autism has. We have the World Autism Day, which is 2nd of April, and then we have this Autistic Pride Day. It's basically saying, you know, we are autistic and we are different, we know it, but we are comfortable the way we are. We only do things differently. It doesn't make us less than anyone else. And another reason why this Autistic Pride Day was set aside is also to, you know, bring awareness to people. The fact that anyone is living with autism does not make them disadvantaged, does not make them less of a human. They're still human, just like every other neurotypical child. And also, in terms of equality, they need to be treated equally with other people. And that brings me to talking about, you know, educational placement. For example, some mainstream schools will tell you, no, I can't, you know, any child living with autism or any other related disability, I can't admit them in my school. They're teachable. Their learning styles are different, but they're teachable individuals. And then even hospitals, sometimes they don't understand, because autism, basically, the short definition for autism is a triad impairment which affects behavior, communication, and cognitive skills. So, you know, the behaviors are different, but it's not because the child wants to be stubborn, but because they don't understand how to behave the way the society wants them to behave. So I think it is more of a day of, you know, accept us the way we are. That's the Autistic Pride Day.
Now, still on that, I mean, while it's important for those with autism spectrum disorder to take pride in themselves and be comfortable in their own skin, so to speak, one must acknowledge that not all of them can communicate the way Kanye in our preceding report, who communicates through art, can do. So what can society and the families of autistic children do to ensure that they're not left out, to ensure inclusiveness?
Okay, again, I talked about educational placement, because that's one of the ways, you know, you can integrate children into their immediate community. Like you rightly said, Kanye's mom said, the routines for parents out there, and then for relatives or neighbors who are living around these kids, routines are very important for them. If you get a set routine and, you know, teach them, get them into that set routine, they learn. So that's another way of integrating them into the community. And then educational placement, like I've already said, the chance for them to be in school with other regular children, it's, you know, that's another way you can integrate them. Like the logo for the Autistic Pride Day is the infinity signs. What that means basically is there's no end to, you know, what they can do. If they're given the right platform and support, there's no end to what they can do. And of course, again, you see the autism logo is very colorful. They're visual learners. So instead of you to stand in front of the board and go 1 + 1 is 2, bring visual stuff and visual materials and put one here, put the other one here, and bring it together and say this is why 1 + 1 is 2, instead of just standing in front of the board. So children living with autism or persons living with autism, they're visual learners. So whatever you want to do, you have to make sure, you have concrete objects to pass on your, learning objective to them.
Yeah, thank you. I would have loved us to talk more about autism, but I'm afraid we're going to have to stop here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That was the director of the Pat Silver Educational Support and Therapy Center, Evelyn Mensah Agu, on World Autistic Pride Day 2021. Now, there's a ray of hope for the people of Nasarawa and parts of Plateau State as the federal government sustains its commitment to completing a power substation which will improve electricity supply. More than 3 years since its foundation stone was laid, the project is to be inaugurated in September this year. Aliu Tijani Mohammed reports.
Lafia 330 Power Substation is said to be one of the life-changing infrastructure being constructed by the Buhari administration in Nasarawa State to address low voltage and boost electricity supply for socio-economic activities. Being implemented under the National Integrated Power Project, work on the substation is nearing completion.
Before now, the people of Lafia at best have what you call candle lights. Now with this substation completed, every part of Nasarawa State will have access to electricity. As long as there is power on the grid, they will have access to electricity. The immediate impact you will see in the fact that industries will begin to spring up here.
Governor Abdullahi Sule commended federal government for the intervention in boosting electricity supply in the state.
I thank you for your commitment to ensure that this project is delivered in September, which is actually just roughly 3 months from now.
Finding shows that Lafia is the only state capital in the country yet to be connected to a 330 kV power line. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
And from Lafia, we head now to Lagos, where Michael is standing by with stories from that end. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Najatu. 2 more persons have died from the gas tanker explosion that rocks Opik building along Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way, Ikeja, midnight Thursday, now making the figure 5. Amaka Owo reports that the 2 victims died at the Bagada General Hospital's Bond Special Center after they were earlier rescued alongside 11 others.
Smoke has finally cleared, and the level of damage done by the gas tanker explosion can fairly be seen.
Meanwhile, we are suffocating already, but we just managed and we ran outside to the other side of the road, to GRA. So that was the end of the scenario. So after we just ran about 5-10 minutes, we discovered that the whole place has exploded.
Preliminary reports by the authorities attribute the cause of the explosion to an unconfirmed leakage from the tanker while in motion.
The ground floor of this building has the Chinese restaurant with the kitchen. So definitely with the tense atmosphere, the weather was high, was tensed up. So with the kitchen having naked fire, we don't know what happened.
We are able to rescue 13 people alive.
Government officials at the scene expressed worry at the increasing rate of fire incidents in the state.
13 people were rescued, but it's 13 minus 2 now. I'm not going to talk here and start holding anybody responsible directly right now, but you can be rest assured that the Lagos State government is not going to let this just go and pass by.
Onlookers will be more than those who actually want to carry the rescue operations. It's our responsibility to make sure that all government agencies are given conducive environment to carry out their professional callings.
They assured the public of measures to prevent such unforeseen occurrences. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
A federal high court sitting in Lagos has discharged an acquainted Senator Peter Nwabuchi, representing Delta North Senatorial District, of all charges of fraud and money laundering. Details in this report.
In a judgment that lasted about 30 minutes, Justice Chukwujekwe Aneke ruled that the EFCC failed to prove the element of its allegation of fraud and money laundering against the accused, Senator Peter Nwabuchi. After 3 years of prosecution, Justice Aneke noted that the agency's suit lacked merit since the prosecution witnesses could not provide substantive evidence in their testimonies. He therefore discharged and acquitted the defendants.
I will not say it came surprisingly to us. It didn't come as a surprise. The facts were there all along, showing that the prosecution did not do a good work in this case. There are no facts to support the allegation.
I'm very impressed, and I want to say that I'm proud to be a lawyer. And I'm proud of the Nigerian judiciary that can stand up to say the truth at every material time.
Reacting to the judgment, the prosecution counsel, Mohammed Abubakar, said the commission will study the judgment and take necessary action. Senator Nwabuchi and his supposed 2 firms were charged by the EFCC on a 2-count charge of money laundering and fraud of 805 million naira. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
The challenges posed by accessibility and congestion at the Tinkan Island port still persist, but the regulatory agencies within the corridor are responding positively. Top of the agenda is the facilitation of emergency repairs at failed portion of the road and establishing a security framework that controls entry and exit. Accessing Tinkan Island ports could be painstaking and equally frustrating. I took this video on a motorcycle out of curiosity to feel the pulse of commuters. I stopped at Sunshine Bus Stop gave me the opportunity to see how bad the road is. A situation further compounded by the ongoing construction of the Apapa Oshodi Oworoshoki Expressway. Truck drivers like Idowu Oluwadamilare are caught in the web, and for 2 months he has been on the road.
My wife gave birth on the 22nd of last month. I have never set my eyes on the baby, all because of the condition of this road.
The challenge here is that the situation at the corridor is impeding on the quest to enhance seamless service delivery, which is a major concern for the Nigerian Post Authority.
We are pleading that they should open up the section that they have finished constructing and then do some palliative work at Sunshine Bus Stop. We will liaise with the Bureau for Public Procurement and the Federal Ministry of Transport, and if need be with the National Assembly, to ensure that we get the necessary funds to repair these roads.
Through partnership and collaboration, the trade corridor in Tinkan Island is gradually being decongested, and this will be sustained with a mechanism that regulates entry and exits.
We need to think of the best way to ensure that we keep people out and improve security here. There is supposed to be a control gate, a security control, access control gate that will ensure easier flow of traffic, both in terms of vehicular and human.
Digitizing operations and addressing corruption within the eco-space are measures the Post Authority intend to implement as a way of creating a robust community. Time now for some messages, and when we return, the news continues with Naja'atu in Abuja.
Thanks for staying tuned to Nationwide, and we're talking science education now. Nigeria's ambassador and permanent delegate to UNESCO, Dr. Haji Sani, has appealed to the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology to review its strategy for popularizing UNESCO's scientific programs as a way of encouraging more participation of the Nigerian scientific community. The ambassador made the appeal while on a courtesy visit to the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu. Justin Bem Unyi reports.
There are 8 international programs and intergovernmental committees in the natural sciences sector of UNESCO. Out of these, there are 4 programs in which UNESCO coordinates selected high-level experts to deliver scientific programs in collaboration with the organization, while the other 4 are intergovernmental committees for which members are selected and designated as focus agencies. Having identified the Ministry of Science and Technology as one of the most active and effective ministry to the work of UNESCO in Nigeria, the organization's ambassador, Haji Sani, was particularly concerned about the review of the country's involvement in the organization's permanent delegation. She solicited the cooperation of the ministry to popularize scientific programs through identification and encouragement of Nigerian scientists, academics, and experts to be actively and closely associated with UNESCO as part of their professional focus.
Participation and active contribution to the different specialized programs is the only means by which UNESCO could recognize professional expertise.
We want to assure you that this relationship will even become stronger. We're also working very hard to popularize science, technology in our country.
The UNESCO ambassador also brought to the fore this year's forthcoming General Conference of the organization, scheduled to hold in November, as the ministry is expected to participate. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
It's time now to join Fatima in our Makudi Network Center for more reports. Hello, Fatima.
Najatu, good evening and welcome to Makudi. Governor Samuel Otom has expressed concern over the spate of killings in parts of Benue State and the consistent increase in the number of internally displaced persons, challenging security agencies and communities to strengthen surveillance and strategies to end the menace. The governor stated this when he met with concerned citizens, State Emergency Management Agency, alongside members of the State Security Council at the Government House, Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
The Benue State Governor Samuel Otom, who recounted series of killings by gunmen in various parts of the state and swelling the number of internally displaced persons, challenged security agencies and relevant authorities to work together to strengthen forces to tackle the problem.
It's quite challenging. Let us continue to do our best in the midst of this. I believe that by the time the community volunteer guard is fully established, it will complement what you are doing and it will reduce some of the tension.
Deputy Governor Benson Abono corroborated the governor's submission.
And therefore, if you do not stop the forces at play that are responsible for the displacement of people internally, the displacement will continue.
Executive Secretary, State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Emmanuel Shio, noted that the security situation in Benue is overwhelming and has taken a devastating toll on the available camps as displaced persons in the state now totals over 1 million. He acknowledged the assistance given by the government and spirited individuals to the people and appealed for more. Commanders NAPTIP and NDLEA lamented the current high tide of trafficking in persons and drug abuse among youths in the state and appealed for quick intervention to halt the trend. A civil society stakeholder, Victoria Zhao, and others expressed commitment to work together with government and the international community to reduce the humanitarian crisis. They described displacement as a factor of insecurity and unanimously agreed that there be a network of security agencies, community leaders, and the civil society to address the situation. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
On health matters, as part of efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and to ensure universal health coverage, the Benue State government flagged off the Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Care Week in the state. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports that mothers can now access all the services at all primary health care centers across the state.
Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Week is a nationwide program geared towards improving the health of mothers and children under the age of 5. Activities such as immunization, prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, family planning services and deworming, among others, are carried out during the week. The 4 days exercise, which lasted through 14th and 18th of this month, some mothers say afforded them the opportunity to access basic health care needs.
My baby is 3 months old, and this is the third immunization that we are coming from. You have collected the first dose, second dose, this is the third dose that is about to collect.
The immunization is very good for their health. It prevents them from the diseases. And as you can see, my baby is very healthy.
Executive Secretary, Benue State Primary Health Care Board, Dr. Bem Ageda, says the Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Week is a strategy to deliver free package of high impact and cost-effective intervention which are essential to improving the health of women and children under 5.
It's an intensification, really, of the activities that usually go on at the primary healthcare facilities. And these are activities, but because of several shortcomings, they are not usually optimized. So this week is taken to intensify them. So we have the total population of women and children covered.
He further encouraged mothers and caregivers not to relent, as the exercise is an ongoing one and they can access all the services at the various primary health care centers across the state to ensure reduction and prevention of maternal and child mortality. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Makurdi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Najatu.
Fatima, President Muhammadu Buhari will participate in the 59th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in Accra Ghana on Saturday, June 19, 2021. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President, who will depart Abuja on Saturday, will join other heads of state of government of ECOWAS for the mid-year statutory meeting of the regional bloc, with the exception of Mali, which has been suspended from the group. Former President Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria, ECOWAS Special Envoy and Mediator to Mali, is expected to present a report on his latest working visit to the West African country to the summit of the heads of state. The 59th ordinary session of the ECOWAS heads of state and government was preceded by the 46th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council, MSC, at the ministerial level, and the 86th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers in Accra, Ghana. President Buhari will be accompanied by some ministers and other top government officials. Let's now join our Benin Network Center for more on Nationwide. Agatha is our guide. It's great to see you, Agatha.
See you to Najatu. Welcome to Benin. Nigerians in Edo and Delta states are calling for strict monitoring of elected leaders and inclusion of national ethics in schools' curriculum to close the gaps in the fight against corruption in the country. This was some of the submissions during the flag-off of the zonal dialogue with stakeholders in Edo and Delta states by the Independent Corrupt and Other-Related Offences Commission (ICPC) and the National Orientation Agency (NOAA). The report. The National Ethics and Integrity Policy, approved by the Federal Executive Council on August 19, 2020, was launched by President Muhammadu Buhari on September 28, 2020. The policy was conceived out of what the ICPC terms urgent need to resuscitate and rejuvenate values of honesty, integrity, and nationalism, fueling corruption. It promotes core values of human dignity, people's right to voice and participate in governance, patriotism, personal responsibility, national unity, and professionalism.
It is therefore our hope that the consequence management and implementation strategy will help in the proper enforcement of this policy.
The National Orientation Agency will continue to work so that vision to rejuvenate and resuscitate our gold moral values of the yesteryears will be achieved.
Participants from various segments of the society believe that Nigerians must first start from their homes to be agents of the desired change so the country can move forward.
The issue of corruption from our own point of view as CAN, fighting it, has been further exacerbated by the way we elevate the nouveau rich in our society without questioning their source of wealth.
We will make sure that we talk to all the Muslims, all the imams, so that they can carry this message to the grassroots.
For the policy to succeed, all hands must be on deck. ICPC and NOAA are therefore appealing to Nigerians to commit to the collaboration. All hands must be on deck. Rural roads maintenance and agricultural development in Ondo State have received a boost with the procurement of 18 motor graders for the 18 local government areas in the state. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu said the project is part of continuing development of the state through infrastructure, rural and agricultural development. Abiola Ario reports.
Seems we've lost that connection there. We apologize. We'll take a break now and there'll be more reports when we return. Thanks for staying tuned. And now I'll hand over to Asma'u in our Sokoto Network Center with trending stories from that axis. Good evening, Asma'u.
Good evening, Najatu, and a warm welcome to Sokoto.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol has expressed support to the federal government's stance on re-establishing of cattle routes and grazing reserves to check the ongoing ethnic profiling. He was speaking at the Sokoto Mega Youths Interactive Session organized by a state chapter of the National Youths Council of Nigeria to mark the 2021 Democracy Day. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the report.
Governor Tambol said establishing cattle routes and grazing reserves became necessary due to the current stand of the southern states' governments on open grazing. He added that northern states are endowed with adequate land potential that only require proper management to accommodate all herders. On agriculture, Tambol noted that security is critical, requiring governments at all levels to rise and do more to enable farmers feel adequately secured in their farms.
We must see ourselves as brothers and sisters and work towards making Nigeria work for the betterment of every one of us. Nigeria is a great country. We must not destroy it. The unity of this country is very important and is very fundamental. And it's all about understanding our differences and accommodating them. Nothing beyond that.
Governor Tambol later presented a lecture titled Democracy in Nigeria, Leadership and Good Governance. Panel of discussants concentrated on education, agriculture, and youth development. They also advocated for educational curriculum review, establishment of agricultural incubation center, and change of mindset among the youth. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Sultan Foundation has expressed its readiness to partner with anybody willing to help Nigerian children to pursue education. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar gave the assurance while receiving on courtesy call Canadian Acting High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Nicholas Simard, at his palace. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the report.
The Sultan expressed delight with the concern shown by the Canadian Acting High Commissioner to Nigeria on Nigerian children and the zeal to assist them become functional members of the society. He emphasized on the need for more bilateral relations in the areas of security, health, and education between Nigeria and Canada. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar assured the Acting High Commissioner of his foundation's readiness to partner with Canada in the areas of women and girls' empowerment.
We assure you of our cooperation, our total support in working with you to make your tenure here as the Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria as one of the best.
Canadian Acting High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Nicholas Simard, informed the Sultan that Canada has a series of development programs in Nigeria and Sokoto in particular. He acknowledged the role of the Sultan in propagating the rights and education of the girl child. Mr. Nicholas expressed the belief that the Sultan can do more in promoting the rights of girls and women in Nigeria and bring an end to gender-based violence. He advocated for ways of improving the welfare and needs of the girl child in Nigeria.
Really reiterated Canada's commitment to support the peaceful and inclusive development of Nigeria, especially in this part of the country.
The visit featured presentation of a souvenir to the Sultan and presentation of a book on the history of Sokoto Caliphate to the Canadian Acting High Commissioner. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
And that's the size of our package from Sokoto. It's back to Najatu in Abuja.
Thank you, Asma'u. The Federal Polytechnic Ile-Oluji and the Nigerian Television Authority NTA Akure have struck a partnership for human capital development. The partnership was established at a forum of the two Ondo State-based federal establishments held at the Federal Polytechnic Ile-Oluji, Ondo State. Abiola Ario reports.
The Federal Polytechnic Ile-Oluji was established in 2014, but construction work began only 5 years ago. Members of management of NTA Akure, led by the station's general manager, Segun Ojelade, were conducted around the expansive permanent site of the institution, where a number of architectural masterpieces dotted the landscape. Some of the facilities include a well-equipped ICT CBT center, the library, the building housing the School of Engineering and Workshop, as well as the institution's twin lecture halls. The rector of the institution said the management of the Polytechnic was determined to leave a legacy in spite of shortage of resources, men and materials. He expressed commitment of the Polytechnic to working with NTA Akure for the benefit of the two organizations. From Ileoluji, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
So I understand I've been calling it a house instead of a school. So that's Ile Oluji. And on that note, we conclude the news on Nationwide. Thanks for watching. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. Do remember to keep supporting NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. I'll see you next time.